Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. If this is your first time of stopping by, I say welcome. You're highly welcome. Please consider subscribing to my channel. To my old subscribers who has been supporting me, I say thank you very much for all your support. I really appreciate them. So in today's video, we'll be making a play suit, a jumpsuit for our princesses. If it's something you are interested in, please keep watching and watch to the end, and I will see you at the end of the video. So for this style, we'll be starting from the down of it, that's the pants, the trouser of it, and my fabric is folded into four. I'm using an Ankara fabric. So I will go ahead and then measure the length of my trouser, and because my half length is 11 inches, I'm going to start my measurement from 11 inches. My measurement then I'll add 2 inches allowance for the joining. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my crotch depth, and for this I have my crotch depth is 9 inches. I'm going to add 2 inches if it's going to be a high waist, and then extra inches if it's going to be a for because it's a jumpsuit, and then extra 2 inches, yes, because it's going to be a free one just where it started. And then I'll mark my crotch depth. So then at that place I'm going to mark my crotch circumference measurements there, and then I'm going to for this circumference I'll divide it into two, and whatever I have there, the half of it, I'm going to mark it all um from the top to the bottom. That's I'm going to have a center there, and then I'm going to connect the line. Then for my waist measurement, all my measurements, I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches to it because it's a free jumpsuit. So for this I have 8 inches, and I'm going to divide the 8 inches into 4 and mark 4 inches at each side of the line. And I'll do the same thing for my hip measurement as well, and mark whatever I have. I'll divide it into 2 and mark each at these two sides of the crotch line. And then at the end of the trouser, I'm going to also divide it into 2 and then mark whatever I have there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, what are you waiting for? Hit on the subscribe button, join the growing family, give me a thumbs up as you're watching. And you're going to connect the lines just like I did, and also the curve that I made at the crotch area. Just look at it, you see how to curve your pants there. So I went ahead to label it the waist, because the waist is longer than the other side, so that I don't mix it up. So for the back one, I'm going to fold my fabric into 2 as well, making sure that the extra I have there is up to 2.5 to 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and start to mark 2 inches all around. And for the waistline, I'm going to mark 2 inches up at the back bodies, because of the bust, so that it will be able to accommodate it. So I'm going to go to mark 2.5 inches all around it at the side, just where I'm marking it now. That's the only allowance that the back will be having, and every other thing will be the same. Then for the bodice, my fabric is folded into four. I'm cutting the back and the front together, and the extra I have there is for my zipper allowance. And I will mark my half length, which is 12 inches plus 1 inch allowance for joining. Then for my shoulder, I'm going to mark my shoulder divided by 4, plus then the same measurement I have at my shoulder line is what I'm going to go down with for my armhole depth, and that's what I just marked. Then I'm going to go ahead. Remember, my measurement is starting from my center front, which I just touched now. I'm going to go ahead and mark my body's circumference measurements. And then for this, remember, I'm going to add an extra 1 inch to it for ease. It's not a fitted jumpsuit, and I made a curve for my armhole. I'm not marking my neckline yet, and we are going to mark the neckline later in the video. And that's all for the bodies for now. So to mark my neckline, I'm going to first of all align the back piece well, to make sure that the front and the back is of the same measurement. So I just place my zipper allowance in on top of each other, then place my front bodies together to get an exact measurement like the front one. Then I pinned it down. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this my upper bodies to get the center of it, just like getting the center neck of my body. Then from that center, whichever how wide you want your neck to be, you're going to mark it. For me, I marked 3 inches at that place. From that center to the left side, I marked 3 inches, and then I'm going to connect it from that 3 inches to meet my armhole, line. If you want it lower than the armhole line, you are going to connect it from that 3 inches, slant it to meet that one. And then we are going to go ahead and take our shoulder slope, which is 1 inch, and then I'll connect it to that neckline, 3 inches 3 inches that we mark of the neckline that we marked. And I'm going to cut this out, both the front and the back the same. If you want the back lower, you can go ahead, and then after cutting now, you can then reduce it again. So for the sewing tutorial, for this I don't have lining. I'm going to use the same fabric to turn this. That's the same. I cut out both the front and the back, and then I'm going to stitch the armhole areas only, so that I can turn the armhole inside out. After stitching it down, I will make a notch on this, the little cut on this on it before turning it. You can go ahead and then iron it down to keep it in place more. So the next thing I did is to place the back bodies on the front bodies, that's the front facing the front. Then I'm going to go ahead and stitch down the shoulders. Then when I was done stitching the shoulders, I'm going to align it well again and pin down my zipper allowance. And then with my measurement divided into 2, I'm going to stitch my 2 sides together. Remember that while stitching it, it's not the exact measurement that you have. You're going to add like 1 inch for ease. So for the pants, I'm going to go ahead and join the crotch down, the front one, and the crotch down, the front one and the back one separately. So this is it. After joining the bodies together, we are going to cut out what we are going to use as the ruffle on that shoulder area. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this, and I have about 26 inches after I was done measuring my own. So I'm going to cut out double of it or more than. I think I have about 73 inches or so after cutting this. You can do as much as you can depending on how full or how loose you want it to be. So after I was done joining the two crouch together, I'm going to go ahead and open my pants up and then place the front on the back. Remember, the front is bigger, the back is bigger than the front, so you are going to drag it after stitching one side. So you stitch this one, then drag it to the other side and then stitch the other ones down. So this is the what you're going to be using to make the ruffle, and for this one I have the length of 7 inches and then the width of about 70 something inches, about 73 inches. So after we are done joining the two side of the trouser, the next thing I'm going to do is to join the center, making sure I match my crotch line down, pin it down and then stitch all the way from one side to the other. So what I'm trying to get here is the center of the around the neckline, around the round shoulder, the center. Then get the center of the long fabric we cut out, match the two centers together. The reason for this is so that we'll have a uniform inches of fabric at each side of this, and I'm going to stitch it down at the wrong side first. So for this I pinned it down at the wrong side of the bodice. I'm going to go ahead and make a little place to keep it, to stitch it down. You can use your gathers as well. Then after I was done stitching it down, I'm going to turn it to the right side and then top stitch it just like I'm showing you. And then for the pants, I'm going to go ahead and fold the rough edges of it at the down part. I'll do the same thing for the other leg. And when I was done stitching the leg, the down part and the ruffle on the shoulder area, what I'm going to do is to place the right side of the bodice on the right side of the pants and at the waistline, and then stitch both of them together. I'm sorry that I couldn't work on my table, it was occupied. And when I was done stitching it down, I'm going to go ahead and stitch down my zipper, my zip. And that's all for this style. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Support me in any way you can, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.